All right, here we are. We are live now. See some names scroll through and then I'll say what I gotta say. Oh, there's a name. When I clicked you waved, it says you waved at Rich Stillman. Did it do something on your screen?
It said waved at you.
Nice. Yeah, because I try to do that to every single person I can do that on in the chat during the live stream. Nice. Like, hey, I see you. All right. Let's just get started and people can come in when they get here. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 10th episode of Season 3 of the Coffin Corner Podcast. I'm your host, GoodNightPunk, and with me, as always, is my good friend, Richie. Richie, what's going on, dude?
Same old, you know?
You were looking down at your phone there, and in the camera, it looked like the top-down view of a person in a casket. That's what it...
Oh, really? Because I was
like
watching
when you're like this
on TikTok. It looked like I was sleeping. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like morbid thought there for the to start things off.
Yeah. Well, yes. We're gonna get banned.
Done skis.
Okay. Don't joke about that.
Exactly. All right. Well, a little pop preview here for the fantasy part at the end. A lot of good advice was given out last week.
It was.
Yeah.
We've had some good advice all year so far. Feels nice.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe we're learning something. All right. What do you got for the top 5?
So speaking of fantasy, I thought it'd be a good time to go over what our personal top 5 biggest fantasy football disappointments have been so far this season. So I'll start off with number 5. I only drafted him in one league because I had the number 1 pick, but Christian McCaffrey hasn't played it down. I mean, can't get more disappointing than not playing at all.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to put him on my list, even though I didn't draft him, simply for the fact that nobody really found out how long he was going to be out with this injury until after the drafts and the season started. So, yeah. Definitely a definite disappointment there.
Yeah. I shouldn't have taken him, but I just went with what everybody, what the experts said. Should have listened to my gut.
Yep. Should have listened to the German doctor expert.
Yes. Who we didn't know about until week 4.
Yeah, right? Release the info. Mine's Christian Kirk, who's had a good game, singular, but Christian Kirk, man, last year he was 15 to 25 points most games, and this season it's single-digit games, except for one, I believe, which is tough for a guy that a lot of people need as a wide receiver 2 in a lot of leagues, I would assume. So... And since I have so many injuries on my dynasty team, and Christian Kirk is one of my dynasty receivers, it does not help me whatsoever, him having bad games. So that's a big one for me.
Yeah, when he first got to Jacksonville, man, he was huge, and then it's steadily gone downhill, and now Brian Thomas Jr. is just left right over him.
Yeah, exactly.
My number 4 is Jerome Ford. With Nick Chubb out for the start of the season, I thought Jerome Ford would be a pretty solid running back early on. He did well last year after Chubb went down. But, I mean, all of Cleveland has been terrible, and he's right up there with them.
Yeah, he was... I tried a different strategy this year in my leagues of drafting wide receivers high and taking running backs in like the 3rd and 4th and 5th rounds instead of the first 2 rounds, which meant Jerome Ford was one of my main running backs for one of my leagues, and that has not worked out for me. Like, the only good running back I have in that league now is Kyron Williams, and he was a keeper. Javonte Williams, not working out for me in that league. Jerome Ford, not working out for me in that league. It's to the point I just signed and am possibly starting someone that will be very surprising. Maybe not surprising because his name's getting a lot of Trey Benson. With Connor being banged up a little bit, I think Trey Benson's on the rise. So that I picked up Trey Benson. I'm hoping I get something out of that. But yeah, Raheem Mostert, that's my number 4. He's another one in that league, the same league as your Jerome Ford, where I took Raheem Mostert, I took Jerome Ford. Raheem Mostert's been injured, but not doing anything when he's not injured. With Jerome Ford, it's just running back has been very tough.
Yeah, there have been a lot of the middle of the road running backs that have really disappointed, and it was thin going into the season, so it's made it even thinner now. But another running back that's kind of disappointing was Zamir White in Vegas. They let Josh Jacobs go. Thought Zamir White would be their lead guy, but now here we are, and it looks like Alexander Mattison has already leapfrogged him. Which I didn't see coming. So yeah, that's another one that I've got in a couple leagues that at this point is droppable because he's the backup now. So that sucks.
Well, I mean, having Zamir White is probably part of the reason they were okay with letting go of Josh Jacobs. That is not working out for them.
Yeah, they just give the ball to Alexander Mattison all the time, which he's been all right, but I mean overall the Raiders have been bad. Kind of like the Browns. I mean Jerome Ford's been bad, the whole team's been bad, so it's not just him.
No. My number 3 is someone with a lot of upside, but currently has not done a whole ton besides this last week against the Cowboys, where everyone on the Lions did good against the Cowboys, and that is Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta, great tight end, massive 1,300 yards since he came into the league. Not a lot of those have been this year so far yet, and that's been disappointing. If you took Laporta high or he was a keeper and you didn't worry about getting a second tight end because, LOL tight ends. So, yeah, Sam Laporta. Very tough.
Yeah, Jameson Williams' emergence has really eaten into Sam Laporta.
Who? Jameson Williams. Yeah. And then for some reason, he's sharing all of his targets with Brock Wright. Brock Wright suddenly is a massive target for Jared Goff, and I don't understand it.
Lions just gotta mix it up, I guess. I'm sticking with running backs for my number 2 and going Travis Etienne. This one hurts most because I also have him in the Dynasty League where I'm already thin at running back, and he just is falling off a cliff. Tank Bigsby, I was worried about last year and never got involved, so going to this year I thought, Etienne should be fine. But no, now all of a sudden Tank Bigsby's getting carries, and yeah.
This is a theme.
It's rough.
For fantasy owners out there, this is a massive theme so far for this team. James Robinson, amazing running back, did amazing for them. He's doing fine. Travis Etienne comes back from his injury. They work Etienne in and kick out James Robinson. James Robinson's barely played in the league since then. Travis Etienne's doing amazing. Great running back. Let's work Tank Bigsby in and push out Etienne. If you're a Tank Bigsby owner, watch their draft. They draft another halfback. The odds of them pushing Bigsby out, the history's starting to prove itself here. So, I don't know. That's rough. But I'm with you.
Yeah, it is. It's annoying because, like I said, the Dynasty, I'm thin at running back. I drafted a bunch of guys this year, and I've got guys like Tyrone Tracy, who's looking good, but not. It's like I need someone that I can start, and he's not quite there. And Etienne last week got me negative 0.1, so I would have been better off starting nothing.
You would have. You would have got your 0.1 point back. So, that's crazy. My number 2 is George Pickens. I mean, I understand that Justin Fields that Justin Fields is throwing. Now Russell Wilson's going to be throwing. I didn't believe either one of them were really going to be able to throw it deep. Now it's just, I feel like Pickens is lost in the neutral land where you might get some points out of him, you might get no points, and the odds of a big game are very small. It's very hard for me to choose to put Pickens in at this point. Even though his expected scores are always, 13 or higher somehow, even though he never gets that, I just cannot put him in. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's tough because he's got a lot of talent, but man, does he have personality issues.
Well, there's that too.
Just a lot of trouble.
He just loves face masks, man. Let him have his fun.
I guess so. He wanted everybody, so he just pulls at him.
Yeah.
I'll go with my number 1 is probably the biggest disappointment in fantasy football, I'd have to imagine, for anyone. Mark Andrews. I don't know what happened in the offseason to him to where he is now blocking and not, he'll run routes, maybe get a target, caught a touchdown against the Commanders, because of course he did. But yeah, it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. We got a guy that top 3 tight end of the league, and then is just completely gone. Still on the team, still on the field, just not being targeted.
And then they got Likely being targeted, and then a rookie, Toller, I can't remember his name. Wow. But yeah.
Hopefully last week is like Andrews is going to start coming on. Like maybe he just, taking some time to get into season form, and now against the Commanders is his breakout, and he's going to get back to his old self, I hope, because I took him in like 3 leagues. But yeah, what a ridiculous set of circumstances.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Mine is a more personal one. In our Dynasty League, the only viable quarterback I had to start the season was Matthew Stafford. And he is doing nothing. Like, point-wise, 12, 13 a game at the most. Thank goodness I was able to pick up Darnold off of the free agent waiver wire, because Darnold was on a list of like 5 quarterbacks that were even available, and you've seen what he's done so far. So, yeah, Stafford, massive disappointment. So far, this past week, I started Spencer Rattler because Stafford was on a bye. And I don't know if I would have started Stafford over Rattler, even if he wasn't on a bye. That's the funny part. So, yeah.
Without Kupp and Nakua, man, Stafford's got nothing going on.
Yeah, who is it? Whittington? That's who he's throwing to?
Yeah.
The guy everyone thought was going to be
Jordan
this year's...
Whittington.
Yeah, this year's Puka? Nah.
Yeah, crazy. All right. Well, let's dive on into our news. Some big news.
We got some questions,
week.
Man. I said we would answer them after the segment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's questions there waiting for us.
Look, Devin Booker's in there. Commanders are creaming the Bears in 2 weeks. I hope so, because I'll be there.
Yeah.
Trade AJB for Kamara PPR. Why is my chat acting weird now?
Here, I'll tell you. Trade AJB for Kamara PPR ? My wide receivers are AJB, JJ, Reed, Puka, IR, and Tyreek. Running backs are Jones and B-Rob. AJB's what? AJ Brown?
I'm assuming, yeah. Yeah, I would do that. You got Jefferson, Reed, Puka, Tyreek.
Yeah, it seems like you got a pretty solid wide receiver group to add a number 1 running back to go with Jones and Robinson. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be down for that.
Pollard and Nakua for Hubbard and Shakir. No. Jonathan Brooks is coming back. So Hubbard's about to lose his job. Nakua's coming back. Fakir is banged up. Yeah, I would keep Pollard and Nakua.
No. Start Stroud or Sam Darnold. I don't even know the matchups this week. Let me see.
Well, Sam Darnold's playing the Lions. Stroud, I don't remember who the Texans are playing.
I'm looking right now. The Texans are playing the Packers.
Ooh. I would probably go with Stroud.
I would as well. And not just because I'm a Lions fan. The Lions secondary has been picking people off at a high clip this season. And I know the Packers are too, but I think that's mostly Xavier McKinney. Not the whole team. All the different secondary seems to be getting the picks for the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, they're both, in my opinion, they're both good options. I just like Stroud's weapons more than I like Darnold's. So that's my 2 cents. All right. Do you think I should trade Zach Moss and Jalen Waddle for Jamison Williams? No. I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't know when Tua's coming back, and until he does, Jalen Waddle's pretty useless, Zach. And until he does, Jalen Waddle's pretty useless, Zach. Yeah, I might do that, especially if you don't need Zach Moss.
Zach Moss is on the downward spiral. Chase Brown's taking his job.
Yeah, I would probably make that trade, Zach.
Drop Douglas, Juju, or White for Cup. I would say White. Which Douglas is this?
Demario Douglas from New England, I imagine.
Demario Douglas is on the rise right now. That guy's gotten 8, 9, 10 targets a week for the last 3 weeks. Douglas is good. And now he actually has a quarterback who threw more touchdowns in one game than Brissett had all season. May threw 3 touchdowns last week. Brissett had 2 in all the other games. So I think Douglas is on the rise.
Lauren Gibbs, Mason.
Is it Rashad White? Who's Rashad? Oh, I thought it was Zamir.
You could drop either one.
Yeah.
Lauren, I would start Gibbs and Mason. Man, Mason or Hunt? That's a tough one. Let's see who the 49ers are playing. Oh, they're playing each other. Yeah, I'd probably go with Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason and Jahmyr Gibbs. Zach, we went with Stroud. Angelo, Steelers D or Vikings D? Steelers are playing the Jets.
Vikings are playing the Lions. Steelers.
Yeah, Rodgers been getting sacked a lot and throwing a lot of picks. Tyreek and Romeo Dobbs for London. I get Tyreek and Dobbs. Yeah, I'd make that trade.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Kyron Williams for Godwin. I'd rather have Kyron Williams unless you need a receiver.
Especially with the Rams not having any receivers that are really healthy right now. Kyron's getting probably just as many targets as Godwin.
Yeah, he is their entire offense. So, if you need a receiver, sure, but I'd rather have Kyron. But all right, well, we're all caught up. So let's go on to the news, and we'll answer more questions later.
Yep.
So big news: Devontae Adams traded to the Jets finally. I think we all expected that to happen. Amari Cooper traded to the Bills. I thought he might get moved, but I didn't expect. I guess I wasn't positive it would happen, but good for the Bills, man. They desperately needed a number 1 receiver. And then I put this on here.
The Bills one I'm excited about. I think Amari Cooper's gonna do really good with Josh Allen, especially since they didn't really have a number 1 receiver. They just had a bunch of receivers. I think Devontae Adams is going to hate being on the Jets just as much as he hated being on the Raiders.
See, I think Rodgers, if he's going to throw him the ball 15 times a game, so he'll be happy.
It might be, but they're still going to be losing and not good. So
yeah, probably. But as long as he's getting stats, he'll be happy. Cam Akers traded to the Vikings. I thought this was funny because he was also traded to the Vikings last season.
Last year? Yeah.
Yeah. He's just traded to the Vikings last season.
Last year? Yeah.
Yeah. He's just Minnesota's go-to backup running back, I guess.
Like, we don't want to re-sign you, but if we need a running back, we're going to look for you.
If we get desperate, it's like, the end of the night at a bar. If we're desperate, we'll go with you.
Yes. You look much
Russell
prettier
Wilson.
at the end of the night.
Yeah, when there's no other options. Russell Wilson to start for Pittsburgh, which is weird because they're winning. But
I thought, okay.
Aiden Hutchinson out for the season for the Lions, and Jonathan Allen out for the season for the Commanders. So both our teams lost a defensive lineman this season.
Aiden Hutchinson hurts so bad. Not only because
leading the league in
it's
sacks.
him leading the league in sacks, but Marcus Davenport, the guy we signed to be the opposite side for him, is already out for the season. So now we don't have Aiden, Marcus Davenport, Pecco also just got hurt for the entire season in the last game. Our defensive line is in shambles. I'm watching my phone every day to find out when we've traded our picks for Max Crosby. That's all I want to see.
I hear a lot of rumors about that. That would be pretty awesome.
And now that the Raiders have traded Devontae, I've heard supposedly Max Crosby said that if they traded Devontae, that he would want out too. So who knows? Even though he constantly talks about wanting to be a Raider. I don't know. There's other options. I've heard Trey Hendrickson is another name that the Lions might go after. Trey Hendrickson, him, Hassan Reddick. Who's the other one? There's a third one or fourth one. I don't remember. Oh, it's from the Giants. Giants have Brian Burns, who they traded for. Is it Dexter Lawrence? It's one of those Giants guys. Let me see.
I'm going to answer some questions while you're looking that up. Ahmed, Hunt, or Mason?
Ojulari.
Get rid of him before CMC comes back.
That's what it is. Aziz Ojulari.
Ojulari? Okay.
Yeah.
I'd stick with Mason Ahmed because I don't know when CMC's coming back, and Hunt has CEH and Pacheco. CEH is going to be back before CMC, I think. ADR, sit one. Tyreek, Tank Dell, or Debo. I'd sit Tyreek. I still don't trust their quarterback. Ethan, do I keep Pacheco on IR? Yes, he'll be back this year. ADR. I need to do my audio stuff. Oh, well, I just answered that ADR, so you didn't miss anything.
Wait,
Keegan, start Terry or Tyreek. I'd start Terry. Tyreek is still catching passes from. A guy we like. I can't remember his name right now. Miami's quarterback that they've got. Tyler Hunt, Pro Bowler Tyler Hunt.
I was to say, you better say it right.
Yeah,
better come correct.
Like but I still trust Terry more, obviously. So.
Gotcha.
Landon, do I keep Puka on IR or try and trade him away? If you're set at receiver, you could try to trade him. Otherwise, I'd keep him. He should be back in 2 or 3 weeks.
Yep.
All right, so let's dive on into last week's Thursday night game. Thursday night foreplay was the Seahawks 49ers, and I hit all 4 of mine, plus 419. Nice little payout there. You had Kenneth Walker TD, but missed on Jordan Mason TD, under 15.5 points, and 5+ receptions for Ayuk. So I guess it makes sense. We were perplexed why your odds were so high. I guess that's why. So Vegas knew what we didn't.
That was a foreshadowing for Sunday as well. A lot of points in that game, a lot of points on Sunday. Completely different than the rest of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, it felt like offense has finally woke up a bit. So diving into tomorrow night's game, Broncos-Saints, I can't think of anything more boring. I went with a pretty safe
I'm actually excited for one thing, to watch Spencer Rattler. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the only thing to look forward to. I have Alvin Kamara in a couple leagues, so like I want points to be scored, but that's about the only thing exciting about this game. But my foreplay, I went safe because I honestly I have no idea with these two teams. I went Spencer Rattler over 0.5 passing touchdowns. Like, come on, dude's gonna throw one. Cortland Sutton 25 plus receiving yards. Alvin Kamara 60 plus rushing and receiving, combined them. And then Kamara anytime touchdown.
Nice. Well, I went big because I keep losing bets and I need to hit something big to stop losing money. So, yeah. Mine's plus 1100. I went with an anytime Bub Means touchdown because of the fact that it was so high as far as odds go. I think it was plus 400 something. But Bub Means is either the 1 or 2 guy right now because Chris Olave's not playing and Rashid Shaheed's not playing.
Yeah.
So your options then become Bub Means, Mason Tipton, and Cedric Wilson Jr. So I believe in Bub Means. And Spencer Rattler over 0.5 passing touchdowns. He had 2 last week. Getting 1 doesn't seem out of the question. So that's easy. When I saw it was 0.5, I'm like, all right, I'll go with that. I put Alvin Kamara over 4 receptions because the guy just gets receptions like crazy. And then I went with something a little different. I went with Blake Groupie 6+ kicking points. So the Broncos kicker to get either 2 field goals, 1 field goal, 3 extra points, whatever. So we'll see.
Nice.
We'll see how I do.
Well, we both have Spencer Rattler's passing touchdown there, which means, of course, he's not going to hit
it. Yeah, of course. Why would he?
All right. Let's see. Braden, Mason, Pollard for Cooper. I still got Brees Hunt, Pacheco, Chase Brown. No. For Amari Cooper, I know he's on the Bills now, but that's paying way too much, in my opinion. Start Baker or Allen. I always start Josh Allen. So yeah.
Yeah, he scores like crazy. It's here again. I see that. I recognize that name.
I don't. Let us know if our advice last week worked out for you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's dive into last week's review. 49ers Seahawks. 49ers got the win. They needed to, otherwise they would have been 2-4 and looking ridiculous. The Seahawks, I don't remember this game exactly, but I do remember the Seahawks not looking good. So I don't know. They still
That's
up and down.
two games in a row after playing the Lions that they looked absolutely terrible.
I have no idea which team is real, the one that almost beat the Lions or the one that loses to the Giants, but we'll find out. Jaguars Bears. Bears get a dominant win in London. Caleb Williams definitely looking like Caleb Williams that we thought he would. So something to watch in Chicago. Cardinals Packers.
That game was early, and I slept through it because I worked the night before.
Well, obviously, yeah.
But
I slept through it, and I didn't work the night before.
But yeah, I woke up to that score and was completely surprised. So maybe the Bears are coming around. They had the talent, and we talked about it before the season started. But the way they started, it looked like, well, maybe the talent doesn't matter. It's still the Bears, but they might be coming back around.
Yeah, 3 straight games where the offense has played well. So they can keep it up. They're on bye this week, but it looks like the offense. Caleb Williams is playing at that superstar level people expected him to play at, which is exciting for Chicago. Caleb has already thrown, I think it was like 9 passing touchdowns this year, which breaks the rookie record of Mitch Trubisky and Justin Fields, and he's done it in less games. The franchise record for rookie passing touchdowns for the Bears was set in 1952, and it's 11. So he may set Bears franchise passing records in like his 3rd year as a starter.
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer.
Franchise.
I was about to say I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, but look at the receivers that Fields was throwing to, and look at the receivers that Mitch Trubisky was throwing to, compared to DJ Moore and Keenan Allen and what he has right now.
Yeah,
it's a big difference. So him breaking that record over those two does not surprise me.
16 games to 5 games, like that's pretty impressive. Actually, it's more sad that Trubisky and Fields only threw 9 touchdowns in an entire year. Like that's pathetic. I don't care who you're throwing to. Throw to your tight end.
Didn't Fields not start the beginning of the season? He got thrown in the middle.
Like 10 games that season. So it's more pathetic for Trubisky and Fields than it is impressive for Caleb. That's the point. The fact that the record
I'll agree to that.
is 11 is pathetic.
Yes.
That's the point. That's how sad the Bears passing franchise has been. Like 11 touchdowns is your first year. They already rookie quarterbacks the Bears have started, and none of them could hit that mountaintop. Like that's what's sad.
I agree with
Cardinals, Packers. Cardinals are terrible. I watched that game, and they're pathetic. I honestly. Yeah, I have nothing else to say. They are just so much worse than everybody thought they were after they beat up the Rams. I don't know what in the world happened in week 2, but against the Lions, the Commanders, they snuck one out against the 49ers, which is more about the 49ers than anything else.
Yeah.
And then they just looked like trash against the Packers. They're a horrible team all around.
That's very bad.
Yeah, I had nothing else to say.
I don't have a lot to say about the morning games because I slept through them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I did not feel like waking up for any of these teams that day.
I don't blame you. Colts Titans. Colts get the win behind Jimmy Flacco, or Joey Flacco.
I was like, who the hell is
That's
Jimmy Flacco?
Titans. Will Levis is the worst quarterback in the NFL. Everybody hyped him up as a breakout candidate before the year, and then he did that mayonnaise commercial, and now he's literally a clown out there. He's like the most memed quarterback. It's ridiculous. He is.
I will never, whenever I think of Will Levis, I will never not think of him on his knees with his hands behind his head after that pick 6, watching the guy run down the sideline.
Yes.
That's my favorite picture of Will Levis.
Yeah, he's just become a meme machine and not a quarterback. But the Colts, winning with Joe Flacco, and then they're going to go back to Anthony Richardson. I get okay. Texans, Patriots. Drake May, threw 3 touchdowns. Didn't look too bad. Texans still get the win, as they should. They are the better team. But yeah, exciting to see how Drake May looks going the rest of the year.
Yeah, and hopefully this isn't one of those, he looked good, so everyone's going to get all excited like they did for Mac Jones for a year.
Oh, they already have. I've already seen Patriots fans
just all yours
talking everything about, oh man, Drake May, he might be better than Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. He threw 3 touchdowns in the first game, and they didn't throw any in their first game. So yeah, they're already the hype train's already left the station.
It's always the same in New England. Yeah. Now, after Brady left, it's like, Mac Jones, yeah, Bailey Zappi, yeah.
Everyone they have is the best because that's what they're used to. They don't know how to be any different. God bless them. Bucks Saints, massive scoring in this game, man, ridiculous. John Tucker, the 3rd string running back, having a career day.
I remember waking up and because I had to start Bucky in our Dynasty League. I remember waking up and seeing Bucky score, and I'm like, all right, he did well, nice. And then 3 hours later, I was looking through the box scores, and I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Yeah. He took all my Bucky points. I don't even know who this guy is.
I remember at one point that game was 27-24 Saints, I believe, and then the Bucks scored 30 unanswered points. It was nuts.
Yeah.
Browns Eagles. Eagles won, but I mean they looked not that great doing it.
The Eagles
AJ Brown's back.
looked terrible.
Yeah, they're gonna win games, but they're not doing it in the dominant fashion you'd expect, which is real concerning when you're playing against one of, if not the worst team in the league in Cleveland.
Got worse trading away Amari Cooper.
Yeah. Literally, it's this sinking ship. I don't know, something to watch in Philly. I expect them to be a little bit more dominant. Commanders Ravens. Commanders did exactly what I expected. They lost, but they didn't embarrass themselves. That's all I wanted. Well, the defense did. The defense is garbage, so who cares? But the offense actually looked pretty good. Jaden had some great throws to Terry. They did everything they could. The defense just could not cover anyone, which not surprising. So yeah, lost by a touchdown. Good enough. Good enough outcome. And yeah, Mark Andrews got involved and got a touchdown, so I'm happy. He needs to do that every week.
Please. Ferguson's on bye this week. I had to put Mark Andrews back in.
I'm just at the point where I'm just leaving Mark Andrews in my lineup, and I'm just living with it. It's like, I'm just going to go down with the ship. If he catches a touchdown, great. If he does a 0, whatever. I'll live with it.
Nice.
Chargers, Broncos. Chargers get a win. Kamani Vital kind of coming out a little bit with Gus Edwards out. I like to see that.
But I like to see it only because J.K. Dobbins didn't get his time stolen. J.K. Dobbins still had an awesome game with Kamani Vidal having a good game. So as long as Dobbins stays the guy, I'm happy.
And he will, as long as he's healthy. So
yeah, because he's proved already if he's going to be healthy, he's a workhorse for them. And he's doing very well. Finally getting that chance that his injuries would not let him have all this time.
Yep, exactly. Steelers, Raiders. Steelers get a win and then bench their quarterback. I don't get it.
And the Raiders lose with Aiden O'Connell in and then trade their best wide receiver.
Whose hamstring is fine now. I don't know if you saw that. He's definitely playing Sunday. Which is
good. Good for him.
News. Yeah, hamstring magically feels good now that he's in New York.
Lions,
Cowboys. I love this.
There.
I keep watching videos on TikTok of Cowboys fans.
Cowboys reactions. It's just so good.
Joy in my heart.
Dude.
It makes my heart sing when I see them all get sad.
The only thing really that needs to be said about this game is that how petty the Lions coaches were. Because
I told you.
The fact they tried to score 2 times on 2 different trick plays with offensive linemen to get touchdowns, they really just wanted to stick it to them. And I'm here for it. Because that hook and ladder to Penei Sewell was awesome. Got called back because a lineman downfield, which I don't believe. And then the other one, God, I don't remember what. It was off to the left, and it was to Decker, who scored the one last season that got pulled back. I don't know, man. That was just fun. That was fun. It was enjoyable as a Lions fan.
I knew they were going to be out to run up the score and prove a point.
What did I say at the end of that game last season? I said, listen, I can complain about the refs, and I will till I'm blue in the face, but the fact of the matter comes down to don't leave it to the refs. Well, what did they do this time? 47-9. Refs couldn't do anything to save this for the Cowboys. So.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, great game.
Falcons Panthers. I didn't watch this game. I know the Falcons won. I know that Tyler Algier had over 100 yards rushing for some reason. But that's all I know.
Yep. I don't know a ton about it either. I just know that the Falcons are finding ways to win, and they found a way to win in this game without Darnell Mooney doing it, because I had him in last week, and he did nothing. So, well, he did something, but not a lot of points. So
they're playing the Panthers. I'd hope they'd find a way to win.
No.
Bengals, Giants. I was expecting the Bengals to win this game more resoundingly.
Dude.
But they did win. So
my parlay was all based on Jamar Chase having touchdowns, Joe Burrow throwing over 260 yards. Everything was based on yardage. And this entire game I'm watching, I'm like, is this the same offense as last week where Joe Burrow threw for 5 touchdowns and over 400 yards? And what is this? You're playing the Giants. How is this harder than it was last week against what? It was the Bills? No, not the Bills. The Ravens? These teams that play down to their opponents, it's just so annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, it was frustrating. I have Jamar Chase in a league. I have Burrow in a couple leagues, so I was hoping for big points, but Giants defense is pretty legit, I think. I mean, they shut down the Seahawks, the Bengals, like they got a pretty legit defense. And then Bills Jets, Bills get the win. Rodgers throws a fit, and they trade for Davante Adams 2 days later or the next day. Jets are. The sad thing is, I think Davante Adams does help them. So I think they'll win a couple games now, but it's so pathetic how much Aaron Rodgers runs that franchise.
Well, they didn't get the interim head coach buff like most people do.
Nope.
They still looked terrible in a lot of aspects. It's just, I don't know, man. It's sinking ship for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunate,
We'll
because
see.
I feel like Salah was building. I feel, and 2 years ago, before they got Rodgers, like in our first season on this podcast, I couldn't stop talking about how much I loved the Jets. And Robert Saleh and what he was building there, the pieces, they needed a quarterback. Well, the quarterback they got sunk the ship, like, in my opinion. I mean, it's not over yet, but I don't know, man. It sucks. Saleh's out. If things don't work out by the end of the season, pieces and parts are going to be divvied up, and it's just what they were building is just completely gone. It's crazy that they would fire Saleh in the middle of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens for the Jets now the rest of the year. All right, let's answer some more questions. Want to get trade value at quarterback? Should I pick up Drake, May, Bo Nix, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, and Danny Dimes? Either Herbert or Danny Dimes to me. Herbert's got the talent, but the Chargers don't run the ball that much.
The Chargers?
Yeah, Justin Herbert.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would still pick Justin Herbert, but the Chargers want to be a run team. They're running like crazy.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah, they run the ball too much. I don't know, Herbert or Dimes, or Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones.
I would wait on Drake May for another week at least to see how he does this week, because I wouldn't expect 3 touchdowns from Drake May every week.
Yeah, exactly. Ryder, trade Zach Moss and Debo for DK and Aaron Jones. Yeah, I feel comfortable with that. I mean,
if you can get off of Zach Moss for that, you're in a good spot, because Chase Brown is coming for his job.
Yeah, and Aaron Jones will be back healthy. I like DK Metcalf. Let's see. Jackson Allen traded Daniels and CMC for JT, Geno Smith, and Trey Sermon. Did I win or lose? You probably lost that one, Jackson, in my opinion. Trey Sermon's just a stopgap. Oh, you got Jonathan Taylor, too. I'm sorry. Actually, yeah, I like that trade. You got Jonathan Taylor and Trey Sermon and Geno Smith. Yeah, I like that trade. Zay, T. Higgins for BTG. I'd rather have Brian Thomas. So, yes, I would trade T. Higgins for Brian Thomas. Pick 2, Achane, Mason, or Bigsby. Jacksonville playing. Jags in London.
They're in London. I don't remember who they're playing. Patriots.
Where's Miami?
Mine was playing the Colts.
Oh, definitely want to play Achane then. I'd probably go Bigsby and Achane. Sit Mason against the Chiefs. I got Jalen Hurts and Kyler Murray as a backup. Should I make any trades for a better quarterback? No, I think Jalen Hurts has got to get right. I still trust Jalen Hurts to start him. I don't know. That's my opinion. I'd stick with Jalen Hurts. And Kyler might be able to fix himself. Who knows? All right. Well, we're caught up, so let's dive on into our preview and picks for Week 7. So Week 6, man, we both knocked it out of the park. You were 13-2. I was 14-1.
And I only got 2 because I refused to pick the Lions last week.
Which I respect that. For the season, you're 66-41. I'm 63-43. So you still got a slight lead on me, but I did gain some ground. This week, Bears and Cowboys are on bye. We're starting with tomorrow's game. Broncos at Saints. Broncos by 2.5.
I don't have 4 bye week teams last week and then only 2 this week.
I have no idea. Then we'll have like 6 one week. It's weird.
No. All right, Broncos at the Saints. I'm actually picking the Saints.
Oh, going with Spencer Rattler, huh?
At home, yes.
All right, going with the Saints. I'm going to go with the Broncos. Spencer Rattler's already a rookie starting. Now he's going to get thrown in there without their top 2 receiving options. I don't like it. I'm going to go with the Broncos. Patriots at Jags. Jags by 5.5.
Patriots at Jags. Jags 5.5. Jaguars at home. I mean in London.
It is their second home, even though they lost last week. Yeah, I'm going with the Jags, too. They played well last week, and Drake May starting his second start's going to be overseas in London. That's a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Texans at Packers. Packers by 2.5.
Hold on, I'm fixing your camera because your face was see-through there for a second.
Leave it see-through. That's fun.
Yeah. Where is the sweet spot? Well, you got closer to it, and so your forehead went see-through.
I like that. Well, I had to sit up. I was taking a little nap there, and then it was time to make picks, and I had to sit up straight.
Oh, gotcha. Texans at the Packers. Packers minus 2.5. I'm going to pick the Packers just because I feel like everybody in the NFC North is feeling the pressure right now to continue to win, to even have a chance to win the division because everyone is good right now. So I'll take the Packers at home.
Yeah, I this one's tough, man. I like the Texans, but the Packers, I got to give it to Matt LaFleur. He's a good coach, and he's got that team ready. So I'm going to go with the Packers, too.
All right.
Dolphins at Colts. Colts by 3.
Dolphins at Colts. Colts by 3. The Colts are finding ways to win. They're at home. The Dolphins are still starting Tyler Huntley, who has not been able to do anything, despite the fact multiple players are going to be back, I believe. Mostert's back. Tyreek should be. I don't know. Yeah, I'm still going to go with the Colts. Until Tyler Huntley wins a game and surprises me, I don't know why I would pick him. Sorry, Pro Bowl quarterback Tyler Huntley.
There you go. If the Colts were starting Joe Flacco, I'd have 100% confidence in this. There's going back to Anthony Richardson, which makes it like 80%. But I'm still going with the Colts. The Dolphins without Tua have not done anything.
No, they're a completely different team. And it's hilarious to me, all the people that are like, Tua's the problem that this team can't win. And I'm like, watch when he goes out what happens.
Yeah, they have not been able to do anything, get any run game going even. It's crazy.
No.
Seahawks at Falcons. Falcons by 3.
Well, until the Falcons turn around whatever is going on with them the past few weeks, I can't not pick the Falcons.
They've looked good.
They've looked good, while the the Seahawks have looked like a completely different team than the one that played the Lions. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, actually. I think the Falcons are getting it done. I mean, it's not amazing, but they're doing it. And then the Seahawks, man, the last 2 weeks have looked terrible. So I think going with the Falcons, I think they get another win here. Here's a big one. Lions at Vikings. Vikings by 2.5.
Picking the not the Vikings. Picking the Lions.
Going with the Lions, I like it.
Because while not picking the Lions last week led to the victory for us, it also led to a season-ending injury for one of my favorite players. So rather than pick against my team and injure another of my players, I will take them this week.
Yeah, I'm going with the Lions. I think the Vikings have had a great start, and Sam Darnold's looked good, and Brian Flores and the defense have been great. But the Lions, in my opinion, are the best team the Vikings have played so far. So I think the Lions find a way to get it done. It's a divisional opponent they know very well. So,
yep.
Going with the Lions. Eagles at Giants. Eagles by 3.
Eagles by 3 against the Giants, and the Giants. I feel like the Giants have been playing pretty well lately, right?
Yeah, they held the Bengals in check, kind of, though they lost, and then they beat the Seahawks 2 weeks ago.
Barely lost to the Cowboys, very bad Cowboys team. I'm still gonna take the Eagles. Let's say this: the Eagles get right game, or get right back on track.
Yeah, I don't know if the Eagles are gonna, -3, it's like, it seems low, but honestly, that's probably about right. I think they win,
it's
but
probably that defense you're talking about.
A field goal. Yeah.
It's more about that Giants defense than it is about the Giants offense.
Yeah, exactly. But I still think Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, Barkley, Brown, all them, they'll still beat the Giants. It just won't be 30-10 like it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Bengals over Browns. Bengals by 6.5.
Bengals, easy. The
easy.
Browns are a dumpster fire.
I'm just going to go ahead and put bonus next to my name on this one because it's the obvious one for me.
When I saw it was 6.5 and not 7, that's what I was going to say as well.
You going to use your bonus there too?
Yep.
Yeah,
take the free crazy points. Always take the free points.
Panthers at Commanders. Commanders in the biggest line of the week by 7.5.
As it should be, because the Panthers are terrible. Commanders.
Yes. I don't know if we'll win by more than 7. I mean, and the funny thing is, we did it against the Browns. And who else did we play? I forget. But I don't know. It's weird for me to look at my team and be like, oh, yeah, we're going to win that game by double digits. We should on paper, but we'll see. Our defense is still very, very bad. But we should definitely win that game. So I'm going with the Commanders, too.
All right.
Raiders at Rams. Rams by 7.
That is a massive line for the Rams.
That's how bad the Raiders are.
They get the Rams, man. They're pretty bad. I'll take the Rams though. Anytime Aiden O'Connell, man, he had his chance last year, and I was hyped for him before the beginning of last season, and he just squashed all hype I had for him by his play in the regular season.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I liked him in the preseason last year, but we've seen enough of him now to know that they desperately need a quarterback. But I'm going with the Rams. Kyron, we've seen enough of him now to know that they desperately need a quarterback. But I'm going with the Rams. Kyron, I believe Kupp's supposed to be back too. So Rams should be good. Yep. Chiefs at 49ers. 49ers by 1.5.
That's interesting, considering there was a thought that they were going to be on their 4th running back. If I'm gonna pick the other undefeated team to lose, I'm gonna pick this one too. So 49ers.
Oh, all right. I'm going with the Chiefs. I don't. The 49ers have not been that impressive. Lost the Cardinals. They haven't been blowing me away. Whereas the Chiefs, with the power of the NFL on their side, I don't see any way they lose that game or any game ever for eternity.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm going with the Chiefs. Jets at Steelers. Jets by 1.5.
Steelers. How are the Jets favorites? Why? Because they got Devontae Adams? They can't do anything right. Steelers are winning constantly. I don't understand this line. And the Steelers are at home? Doesn't make any goddamn sense. Bet on that one. That's plus points for you.
Everybody was betting on the Jets after the Devontae Adams trade, so Vegas adjusted the line, is probably my guess.
I know Raj is here watching, so I'll tell everybody the same thing I told him this week. Can we stop putting the Jets on primetime? I feel like, have they played a regular Sunday game yet? I do not care about the Jets.
Yeah.
Stop putting them in primetime. This is I know they played, Monday Night Football last week. There's Sunday Night Football this week. I feel like every game of theirs has been on primetime.
They were week 1. They were Monday Night Football.
Stop feeding me the Jets. I'm so tired of the Jets.
And I think they had a Thursday night game in there somewhere, too.
That's what I'm saying. I think one game has been a regular Sunday game for them so far.
Now I'm legitimately curious. Now I have to look. Because I also am curious how many more they have to go.
Just please stop shoving the Jets down my throat. I hate it. Bitter pill. I don't want to swallow it anymore. They have
2 more primetime games to go. It looks like 2 more Sunday night games. Oh, no. That's this week. What is this one? 5:15 on Halloween. Is that a Thursday? That must be Thursday. Yeah, that's Thursday Night Football. So they have Sunday night, then they have a Thursday night, and then they have another Sunday night in a couple weeks. And they've already had 3. So, yeah. That's 6 primetime games this season.
Just stop, crazy. Please.
I'm picking the Jets. And the reason I'm picking the Jets is because I feel like obviously the NFL wants them to win. And now that they got Devontae Adams to placate Aaron Rodgers, boy, oh boy, are they really going to get them to win. So I feel a lot of Chiefs-ness coming to the Jets. So yeah, I'm going with the Jets to beat the Steelers.
All right.
Ravens at Bucks. Ravens by 3.5.
The Ravens have played 2 really tough games in a row and won them, so it's hard to pick against them. But the Buccaneers are playing crazy too right now, so that's a tough one to pick. But I'm still gonna take the Ravens in a tough game.
Yeah, it should be a pretty fun game Monday night.
I would take
the Ravens too.
I would take the Bucks on the spread on this one because I feel like it'll come down to the last second, just like the Ravens have. The Ravens games have been that close the last few weeks, so
yeah, I think the Ravens. They're just all around too good right now. Defense is good. Derrick Henry's running like he's 25 again. They're looking good. All right, last one. Chargers at Cardinals. Chargers by 2.5.
What a Monday Night Football game this will be.
A thriller in the desert.
Cardinals are at home, which should mean something, but it won't. I'll take the Chargers.
Yeah. I said it earlier, the Cardinals are absolutely terrible. I'm not picking them again until they prove otherwise.
No.
Going with the Chargers. All right, so that leaves us 1, 2, 3. 3 different. So there you go. I like it.
Just like last week.
Yep.
So,
but of course, the same bonus this week, so that's either we both get it or neither get it. All right, let's do some fantasy questions in the chat before we move on. Nathan, do you think Lions versus Vikings will be high scoring? It should be. Both offenses are very, very good, so should be high scoring. H says Hunt or Jacobs. I'd go with Hunt. I feel like the Packers are going to have to throw more against the Texans than run.
No.
Nathan also asked Juju or Kareem in my flex.
Juju.
I'd probably go with Kareem Hunt. That's a tough one. I just always like running backs, especially when they're clear starters like that. Like, I feel like Kareem Hunt should get a lot of run against the 49ers, but Juju is the primary option behind Kelsey now.
Who are they playing? Oh, they're... Yeah, okay. So, yeah, Hunt might be the better option than Juju there simply because in close games, the running backs are going to get a lot of points. If this was... If you expected this to be one-sided, either one or the other, then that wide receiver is going to get more points because they'll just stop running. But, yeah, Hunt might be the guy.
Guy says MHJ and Aaron Jones for Gibbs and Amari Cooper. I have Montgomery already. I want Gibbs and Amari Cooper. Whatever side, that's the side I want.
Yeah, I was about to say.
DK, Deontay Johnson, DK.
Marvin Harrison is... It's going to take a while before you're getting value out of him. So might as well get it in a trade.
Steven, Wan'Dale Robinson or Demario Douglas this week? I would go with Wan'Dale Robinson. Yeah, see, I'm going Wan'Dale Robinson. Giants are going to have to throw a lot against the Eagles.
So are the Patriots.
Yeah, I just trust Danny Dimes more than Drake May. Only seen Drake May play one game. So there you go. You got to make your own decision, Steven. We're split.
Hearing the sentence uttered, I trust Danny Dimes, is just hard to hear.
Well, that's because you have to finish the sentence.
Either way, I don't know that I trust him any more than the rookie.
All right, so last week's fantasy sleepers knocked it out of the park. You were 4 for 4. I was 3 for 4. I had Jared Goff. He was ranked 20th, finished QB4. You had Spencer Rattler. He was ranked 26th and finished 20th, so higher than he was ranked. Running backs, I went with Justice Hill against the Commanders. Didn't get involved at all. It was all Derrick Henry. Only finished with 1.4 points. You went with Bucky Irving. He was ranked 31st at New Orleans, finished RB12. Wide receivers. I went with Jameson Williams against the Cowboys. He was ranked 47th. He finished 17th. I also called it anytime touchdown for him, which he caught. You went with Zay Flowers. He was ranked 22nd versus Washington and finished wide receiver 5. Big one there. Tight ends. I went with Cole Kmet against Jacksonville. He was ranked 17th and finished tight end 1, which is amazing. I did not expect him to finish that high. You went with Will Disley. He was ranked 27th against Denver, and he finished tight end 22.
You know, the funny part about Cole Kmet is before that Bears Jaguars game in London, I got a message on my notification on my phone saying Ingram was finally not hurt and was going to play that game. And I have Kmet and Ingram, and I switched them out. I called Kmet to the bench, Ingram in. Ingram had maybe 2 or 3 points less than Kmet, so like tight end 3-4 of the week. But I was like, oh man, I pulled out number 1 and still had a good game from a tight end. That doesn't happen with tight ends.
You got pretty lucky there because if you had pulled Kmet out and then Ingram got you 6, you would have been pissed.
Yeah.
Nathan, I also have Jameson Williams. I could flex if you believe Lions will score a lot.
To which I replied, St. Brown has been doubled most games so far this season, so Jamo will probably get a touchdown before Brown anyways.
Oh, I did not see
an option.
Why don't I see your reply in chat? That's weird.
I don't know. Hopefully he did.
But yeah, I agree, Nathan. Jameson Williams, I would flex him over either Hunt or Juju. That game should be high scoring. And Jameson's definitely been involved.
Oh, yeah.
Anthony, trade Cup and Pollard for Jonathan Taylor. I have Neighbors, Jefferson, and Godwin. Yeah, I would do that. You got 3 great receivers. You don't need Cup and Pollard. Definitely.
And there's no guarantee that Cup is going to go crazy after his injury.
Yeah.
Especially with the Rams being so, okay.
Thanks for the follow, Joey. Joey asked, thoughts on Ferguson? He's on bye this week, but I still like him. He didn't do much last week. I thought he was going to have a better day, but I still think
no one did anything last week.
Yeah.
The entire Dallas Cowboys offense did nothing last week, so...
Yeah, I still like him for the rest of the season. Should I sit Pittman with Richardson coming back? Only if you have good options. Otherwise, I'd still have to leave Pittman in. Kyle Kelly, Josh, and Mooney for Pollard. I don't use Pollard at all. You have to remind me which Josh, but I do like getting Mooney, especially if it's a player you don't like.
Josh Downs? No. Like, maybe who's Josh?
For sure, Joey. Thanks for the follow. Kyle, which Josh? I'd still probably do it, getting Mooney. I mean, if you're not using Pollard, you're
Mooney's a good option. He didn't have a great game last week when I finally started him, but he's been having really good games, so...
Oh, Josh Jacobs.
Oh,
but you don't use Mooney at all. Then yeah, for sure. You're upgrading at running back. Yeah, I would do that deal. Trade Josh Jacobs and Mooney for Tony Pollard. Yeah, I like it. All right, let's finish up with our Week 7 fantasy sleepers. So for the season, I'm 11-5 in my sleepers. You are 8-8 after a solid week last week. Batting 1,000.
Watch me go over 4 this week. Let's go.
I know. That's the pressure, man. I went back and looked at my guaranteed calls, and I'm 5-1 in my calls. And the one I got wrong was Khalil Shakir. I said he'd have over 100 yards in week 4. He had 62 yards in the first quarter before he got hurt. So I still think I was on the right track with that one. But let's see if I can keep it up, because I'm going with Andy Dalton at quarterback against my Commanders' shit defense. He is ranked 23rd. I'm calling 3 passing touchdowns for the Red Rifle.
Can I just say that's probably not going to happen? Whether you're guaranteeing it or not?
That's why I'm going out on a limb here, but I know our defense is bad. They should have to be throwing if our offense continues to score. So let's get a shootout going.
No. I picked Drake May against Jacksonville because their passing defense is not good. And Demario Douglas has been going off the past few weeks. Having an actual quarterback, it's going to be very good for him. So then that opens up Hunter Henry, and they got decent passing options there. So and he's ranked 23rd out of 32. Can only go up.
Should be a good game. Running backs, we talked about Zamir White and Alexander Madison at the start. I'm going with Alexander Madison. He's ranked 35th against the Rams. He is the starter over Zamir White at this point. I think he's absolutely startable, and they have him ranked as like a 3rd running back. So, yeah.
Well, I got Nick Chubb, who's supposed to come back this week. He's ranked 39th, playing Cincinnati. He can either have a really good game or just not be used at all because the Bengals are running away with the game and they got to pass. So, yeah, I picked Chubb. Hopefully he has a good game on his return. Maybe he takes them from being the worst team in the NFL to slightly less bad, but I believe in Chubb.
The 31st team.
Chubb is a very good running back. So.
I hope he's healthy. I do love Chubb, yeah. I'm going to pause here and answer some questions we got coming in.
All right, I'll be right back.
All right, let me scroll back here. Jay, what do we think of starting Worthy? Definitely. J Mac, trade Connor for Dobbins. Yes. Brendan, start 2, Tay, Addison, or Wandell. Is that Devontae Adams or Smith? If it's Adams, definitely. And then probably Addison against the Lions. What do we think Drake May's first start? Looked good. I liked it. Curious to see where he goes from there. I like Drake May in college, so he I think he's gonna be fine. Picked up Douglas and Henry. I dropped Waddle and Kincaid for Douglas and Henry. Yeah, man, Waddle at this point, Waddle is until Tua comes back, Waddle's unusable. Higgins or Ayuk? I go with Ayuk. I think the Bengals should run away with that game. They shouldn't have to throw that much. The 49ers Chiefs should be a fairly high scoring game. Neighbors and Achane or Walker and Hill. I'd go Walker and Hill. I do like Neighbors, but I like Kenneth Walker a lot. And Tyreek's Tyreek. They just got to get the ball in his hand. Jay is Neighbors starting again. I think I saw today he was like limited in practice, so hopefully he starts. But man, he's been missing like 3 games for a concussion. Is not good. All right, all cut up. Thanks, guys, for the questions and comments. We love the interactions. All right, so sleepers. We did running back and quarterback. Wide receiver, I'm sticking with the Panthers. Xavier Legette, I love that kid. But love his accent, love the way he plays. He's awesome. He's ranked 52nd against the Commanders. Again, I know my team. I've watched my defense. They're horrible. He will be open, and he's like Deebo Samuel. When you get the ball in his hand, he will be able to run. So I like Legette. Punk's going with Bub Means, ranked 64th versus Denver. That's a great one because as of right now, he's basically their number 1 receiver, with Olave out and Shaheed probably out multiple weeks. Yeah, I like Means. Sorry, I was doing your receiver.
No, I heard.
Nope,
good old Bub. Bub should be an easy one to not be 64th ranked wide receiver.
Jay in chat said he got one more question. Do you think ETN or Tank has any value at this point? I have both. Jay, I think both have value, but neither has value by themselves. If you have ETN and Bigsby, you're good. If you have one or the other, then you got nothing. So I think you're solid. I'd hang on to both until that situation fixes itself, but I think Bigsby is probably the one that's going to end up being the starter.
Yep, I agree.
Awesome. Thanks, Jay. Feel free to ask some more questions. All right, so last one, tight ends. I'm going with Juwan Johnson. You picked Bug Memes. I went with the tight end. He's ranked 39th versus Denver. Someone's got to catch the ball from Spencer Rattler, and I like Juwan Johnson. So,
you mean you don't think it's going to be Taysom Hill?
Well, he missed last week. I think he's questionable right now. See, the thing is, if a Taysom Hill plays, he's probably going to score 30 points tomorrow night because they're just going to be like
prime time. Taysom Hill wants to shine. Taysom Hill is the most enigmatic player ever. I feel like
it's so annoying.
It's crazy. Like he can throw for touchdowns. He can rush for touchdowns. He can catch. He does everything on a team.
He does.
He kind of reminds me of
great. He just does it.
Yeah, randomly, like once every 4 games. And it's funny because it kind of reminds me of what like Cordarrelle Patterson was on the Falcons before they got a running back, where it's just like he can be a receiver or he can be a running back or just crazy.
Jay, what do you think of Mostert? I've held on to him since the draft, but I also have Pollard and Kenneth Walker. I still would hold on to Mostert, especially since you don't need to start him with Pollard and Walker. I would be dropping him.
Keep a close eye on him this week because a chain is still hobbled, and Mostert's listed without an injury this week. So Mostert should get the bulk of carries, and if he does well this week, that should give you a good indication of what's going on.
Kyron Walker. Wait, Jay, do you have Pollard, Kyron, and Walker? Is that what you mean? A mint. Okay. if you've got Pollard, Kyren, and Kenneth Walker, I would try to trade Mostert. I wouldn't be dropping him, but I would definitely try to trade him.
Yeah,
somebody out there has got to
trade
be a running back. Yeah. Amit, start one. ETN, Vitals, Amir White, or Dante Foreman. God.
That's
I'm so sorry.
What? Is this a 14-person league?
That is, boy.
That's pain. Well, Gus Edwards is still hurt, so probably Vidal for me.
Yeah. I want to start Kamani against the Cardinals because they're terrible. But that takes some guts because he could also get nothing.
Who's Foreman? Is he on the Falcons?
Okay. Dante Foreman, I think, is filling in for the Vikings with Aaron Jones out.
It's not Cam Akers?
No, I think they traded for Akers as a backup. I think we both would start Vital, but Jay's got Kyren Williams and Tony Pollard. Okay. Then yeah, hang on to Mostert. I would still maybe shop him because you do have ETN and Bigsby. So whenever the Jaguars decide which starter they're going to use, you'll have him. Land in place. Trade Diggs.
Devonta Foreman's not on the Vikings. Ty Chandler's going to start this week.
Okay, so then look up what team he's on.
I
trade Diggs and ETN for London.
Browns.
I'd rather have Stephon Diggs.
No.
Oh, the Browns.
Chubb's starting. He should be starting this week. Or splitting carries. And I trust Chubb more than Foreman.
Trade Mason and Kyler for Love. I have Pollard, Kyren, and K9. Yeah, I'd be okay with that trade, Jack.
Oh, I messed up my camera. Hey, you can see my stuff down there. Which one? Oh, the camera's moving.
Danner says Zay Flowers and Najee Harris for Kenneth Walker if I have good wide receivers. Yeah. If you're not using Zay Flowers, that's definitely a good trade. Jay, trade Evans and Mostert for Montgomery. Yes. If you can get Montgomery, man, he is a solid every week starter.
Dude, I got someone try to ask me straight up what I wanted for Amari Cooper, and they don't have a lot, but they have David Montgomery, and I'm like, David Montgomery. I'll trade you straight up Amari Cooper for David Montgomery. He's like, oh man, David Montgomery's going crazy right now. I'm like, yeah, that's why I would want him.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm like, I need a halfback. You apparently want a wide receiver.
I would go with Jamo. I like Jamo. I think the podcast...
Dobbins for Cooper? I don't know that I would... Yeah, I'm with you, Jay. I got to see what Cooper does with Josh Allen before I entertain any trades. Unless that trade is David Montgomery.
Mixon for Evans and Najee, who wins? That's tough because I really like Mixon, but I prefer. I mean, you're getting whoever has Evans and Najee's getting two players. Najee has not really done anything though. Depends on what you need. If you need a running back, Mixon's better. If you need a receiver, Evans and Najee's better. Personally, I do love Joe Mixon though. So.
Nope.
Cooper has big upside with Bills. I think so.
Like I said, like when we did our before the season review of the teams and made our picks and stuff, my big concern for the Bills was the fact that they didn't have a clear number one wide receiver, and now they do. Getting rid of Diggs, they didn't replace him with a true number one, a for sure number one. And you saw what happened. Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel, like all of them, none of them emerged as the number one target on the Bills with a quarterback that's just really good. Now you got Amari Cooper. If he can be that, and even if he doesn't get the stats, even he just pulls the defensive backs towards him and makes those other three guys I mentioned be open, then he's got a lot of upside for the Bills.
Yeah, for sure. Jay, thanks guys. Always quality info from you guys. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Come back next week. Let us know how our advice goes. All right. We're all caught up now. I think, you still got to give your tight end, and then we're all set.
I'll do the tight end and the send-off. How's that? My tight end for this week is Jonnu Smith, ranked 28th tight end against Indianapolis. I went with another very low tight end just to try to get another win. I don't know, how well he'll actually do, but we'll see. So, there we go.
Tight end's tough, so.
Yep, exactly. So thanks everybody for being here. Thank you for all your questions. Once again, I see once that worked out a lot better when we were able to do questions between the segments. And I understand for everybody that's still here listening, I understand it's probably obnoxious when you ask a question and don't get an immediate answer. But it's also obnoxious for our audio podcast listeners to listen to straight up questions between points in segments. You know what I mean? So we try to get to you guys. We try to also think of our audio listeners. So I appreciate you guys for understanding. We're not ignoring anybody. We're just trying to get to everybody and make it work for everything and everyone. So appreciate you guys for being here. If you don't know, you can find the podcast anywhere you can find podcasts: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, any Spotify. I think Spotify is one. But any podcast catcher that you use will have it on there. Just search Coffin Corner Podcast. You can find us YouTube. The VODs are always uploaded to YouTube at Coffin Corner. Follow us on Twitter at Coffin Corners, and I think that pretty much covers all the social medias. So, I want to say thanks to everybody again for listening. We'll be back again next Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific right here on TikTok. So come hang out with us. Richie, got anything else you want to say?
No, just, thanks everybody who joined on TikTok and asked some questions, and we appreciate it. We'd love for you guys to come back. Let us know how our advice worked out for you. That's basically it.
Awesome. Well, until next week, I hope everybody has a good week. Week, what is it, 7?
It is week 7. Yes.
Okay, I got lost. We're on podcast 10, but it's week 7. That's what confused me. All right, everybody. I hope everybody has a good week 7. Enjoy your football games. I hope that your teams do well, unless they're playing mine. We will catch you next week.